Hey, good Monday morning. I'm just getting out here and streaming. Man, has it been a crazy Monday morning already? As it says on the screen, I stepped on my dog and then I cried about it. Jeez, man. Yeah, so this morning I stepped on my dog. I was up really early at 5, doing my thing, getting ready for the day. Heck, I can't even argue that I didn't have any coffee in me yet because I think I had already been out to the kitchen once and had coffee. Came back through the bathroom. He must have moved, but it was dark, and I stepped on his foot. And he yelped and screamed, and I was like, oh, my God. And he ran away from me and kind of scuttled over. Of course, that woke Christy up and everything else. Sorry for the sound there. Of course, that woke Christy up. And she's like, oh, my gosh, what happened? Well, then I couldn't even get close to the dog anymore. And I felt horrible. I cried. I did. I bawled, actually. I was like, oh, my God, I felt so darn horrible for stepping on my dog. So anyway, I wanted to start off this morning by saying, hey, you got all your plans for the day, and then things like that happen. He's doing okay. Doesn't seem to be limping or anything. So, Christy's like, it's going to be fine. But, man, do you feel bad? And that couldn't see him. And he's like 10 times as big as our other dog that I step on every once in a while. And you feel bad about it. So anyway, forgetting about that, I'm going to go directly into this video in general and forgetting FOPO, the fear of other people's opinions, something many of my leaders are talking about these days, and I am talking about this morning, and that is doing this video, not giving a care about what anybody thinks about the fact that I just shared that I stepped on my dog and I felt bad about it and everything else. So it's about being you and letting everybody else adjust, right? So don't worry about other people's opinions. Just try and be you. So I wanted to talk this morning too, really quickly about some things: mood, hydration, alcohol, just some things that I've been concentrating on and reading about, and certainly trying to experiment with. And and if there's anybody on, by the way, this morning, that's in that boat too, where you have some experience with, hydration and alcohol and what it does to your mood, antidepressants, and how that can be affected by both the drugs and or alcohol, and the after effects of those, not just necessarily during the use of them and things like that. Jennifer, other people's opinions are none of your business. One of the best pieces of advice that I've ever read. And right now with the way things are and everything else, everybody's got an opinion. So I guess it just comes down to selecting, what kind of mood, again, and it kind of goes back to what we're talking about here, that you're looking for to listen to. So, that's certainly something that's going to be different to everybody personally. So what I've figured out, and of course I was told this for many, many, many years of my life anyway, was, drink a big glass of water before you go to bed. Make sure you drink this many glasses of water a day, this, that, and the other. And of course I listened and not listened to certain things, but some things that I know for sure, at least for me, and certainly if anybody's on, you want to share or type something that might help somebody else in this regard. But when it comes to hydration, I've found out that the night before, I was really going into sleep and into bed pretty dehydrated most days. And I think that came from like this fear of I don't know if it's like fear of wetting the bed or, obviously as an adult, that's probably not an issue for most, unless you have a big drinking problem, then maybe it is an issue. But for a kid, it was always like, don't drink too much before you go to bed, right? And then later on, it was like, maybe you just didn't get used to doing that. And then maybe it was, I don't want to get up in the middle of the night and have to go to the bathroom, or whatever. And that's what it's become for me. So now I'm getting up once a night to go to the bathroom because I'm hydrating more. But it's interesting. I think I'm getting up because it seems to be now happening at the same time. I think it's happening in the middle of my sleep cycles when it's most realistic for it to happen. I don't know. Not a doctor. And I'm not out here on social media trying to claim I know shit. So, or anything. Oops. But whatever. Right. So I want to talk about the after effects of alcohol too. It's early Monday morning. There's a lot of mornings too where I know people that drink or even just sociably drink or use alcohol, and it's like, okay, the next morning, is an issue or whatever. But for me, it's actually several days after, and I think it has more to do with just, again, the hydration game, changing those things up. And me personally, I love using it, but then. And it's fun to let certain, inhibitions drop. And, and to be honest, it would make it a lot easier to jump online and stuff like this too. Which is interesting. But from that standpoint, I guess, what do you guys think? The after effects that you deal with, is it an issue? I'm going to go right back. I'm going to just keep going because obviously it's very early in the morning and I don't know how many people are up in Adams yet, but learned something over the weekend from John Cheplack. He's a business coach and life coach also that I follow. And he mentioned something really, really interesting to me this morning or over the weekend that I thought about this morning. And that is, like, I think I've been doing a good job of like figuring out, and remembering to be grateful for things. My wife, Christy, created these journals and stuff for the kids, like to write down what they're grateful for each day, 3 things that they're grateful for, all this other stuff, right? And while I think that's really, really cool, he pointed out, like, what about the actions? What actions actually need to be taken then on that gratitude? Because otherwise, isn't gratitude just saying it? And I'm going to rip on somebody pretty big here potentially, but like, I won't name anybody out, just corporations in general who, attach on to showing gratitude to our, veterans and combat veterans. And they take camouflage designs and this military-esque style clothing. They throw their brands on it and they sell the snot out of it. And they're not really giving much of that profit, back. They're just giving gratitude, but they're not really taking a lot of action, in my opinion. So I didn't name anybody specifically, but like it made me think, like, yeah, I'm grateful for certain things, but which actions am I taking for those grateful things? So thank you, John, for that over the weekend. That was great. And then, going right along line with like the hydration and the mood and sleep and everything else like that. I hope some thought-provoking questions, can come into your mind a little bit about what's your bedtime, and why your bedtime is your bedtime. And Jennifer, I am totally coming back to your hydration point because I appreciate it a ton. What is your bedtime? And I'm just going to explain what's happened to me. And this was more to do with physical fitness at the beginning, but then it became, I think, much more now about mental fitness or at least, mental health. And that became, trying to regulate the sleep a little bit differently. And where mine came from, I've been told to go to bed for 37 or 8 years. And then now I've, like, the last couple of years, I hope it's not just because I got older, but now I put myself to bed. I don't need to go to bed, and and every once in a while, sure, you still have one of those sleepless nights, or, you pull an all-nighter or something like that. I'm, certainly not talking about that, but in general, my bedtime used to be a lot later. And when it was a lot later, that was fine, but I was not doing cool things during that period of time, during those couple hours or whatever. Like, I wasn't doing anything all that productive. And a lot of the time I was spending was watching a TV screen of some sort. And while I still watch screens, like it really opened my eyes as to what I was watching and what I was spending my time on. I know a lot of people use, watching movies. I love going to the movies. I love watching movies. I'm a huge fan of the movies, but I was spending time on TV and movies from 10:30 to midnight, 10:30 to 12:30, for a lot of years, I think, and from that period of time, I would usually, if I think back now, I would always just, throw on an extra 500 or 600 calories in snacks, which I didn't even realize at the time. Like, with the ratios of what I was eating, it's like, ooh, I'd even try and snack healthy. And it's like, it didn't matter, dude. You were still overloading on this percentage, that percentage, or whatever else. And so, there you go. So there was so many benefits to swapping out that bedtime time with some more time that eventually came in the morning. And I will say this, it didn't come at first. And years ago, I read that book, The Miracle Morning, and attempted to, run that. Christy and I did that together. It was really hard. I think, I don't know. I know I didn't make it to 30 days. I have no problem admitting to that. I'm by no means perfect. And I have just an epic list of a lot of failures that can go along. So I'm really hoping some people chime in on their bedtime and why their bedtime is what their bedtime is. But it's hilarious as an adult to be talking about it like a bedtime. So let me know, shoot me a message. If you're watching this on like YouTube or whatever, subscribe to this, make me a comment, something. I'm attempting to help everybody out by spreading information. That being said, I want to go back to Jennifer's comment because, hydration, because it's a good point of our topic this morning. I find if I hydrate well throughout the day, I can stop within an hour or so before I go to bed. And I don't disrupt my sleep cycle. But I don't feel completely dehydrated. So I think that's a hell of a great tip. And I can tell you that Jennifer is done a ton of work with, self-help stuff and exercise and fitness. She's, one of those model moms. And so from that standpoint, I will say this, she's a great person. If you look her up on Facebook, or Instagram too, great one to follow on there. But, what is your bedtime, Jessica? Hey, good morning, by the way. 10 p.m. Yeah, mine has been getting closer and closer and closer to that, whereas it used to be 12:30, 1 a.m. Then it was midnight. Then it was 11. Now it's getting a lot closer to 10. So, yeah, right there with you. Yeah, the morning time has really been helping me center too, which I'm going to get to, before my meetings start here if I don't gab on here too long. Nick loves his dabbing picture up on the screen. Yeah, rock and roll. Good. God, good morning, Taco. So from that standpoint, we'll get back to bedtime here. Jennifer's got another great comment, but like bedtime is a big thing. Making it a routine, right? Well, so for me, I was struggling big time with having the morning routine work out. And then I figured out, I don't think it's very easy to make your morning routine work out if you don't have a bedtime routine. And so I'm proud. And guys, I'm not saying anything I'm sure that hasn't been said, a million times or whatever. But I just, again, bringing up some stuff to hopefully help, and other people's comments like Jennifer's to help, and other people. So What I wanted to talk about next, I guess, too, this morning was just that, Monday mornings, especially we're in Wisconsin today, and it is gloomy and kind of crummy out. So from that standpoint, like, I was really glad I woke up early and tacked the day. It kind of stunk that it started off with me crying after I stepped on my dog's foot. That was a bummer. But I'm still I was still way ahead of the day, got a bunch of things done on a Monday morning, which usually is like, oh, here we go. And it's even sluggy outside. So I'm super glad that before the sun even came up, I was already, doing those habitual things to get my engine started, basically. So I just consider, again, like, if you're looking at the bedtime, if you're looking at the morning and you're having trouble with either of them, I'm not saying that I'm the master every single day, and I'm not. My family can attest to that. But certainly don't tack one without the other. You'll be very, very frustrated, I think. For sure. Bedtime, that bedtime routine again. Christine, I think your comment comes in pretty timely too. Like, the screen and reading makes me fall asleep better. No screen, the less blue lights from those screens. That's a big deal. Which, hey, that's a solid tip right now. Anyway, be turning every one of your phones, your screens, your computers, your laptops, all those things. They all have night mode now. So if you guys don't have night mode on your screens, that's certainly something to think about. Do you have night mode on your screens an hour before you go to bed or whatever? It really does help shut that stuff off. There's no doubt about it. If I stay engaged with blue light, I can definitely stay up later. So it's just there, right? Let's see, what else do we got here? The last thing that I want to start on, and then I'm going to play some drums real quick because I got to get to my 9 o'clock appointments. And I got to go refill my coffee before then. And hopefully we'll have some people jump on and share something this morning. But either way, I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I read over the weekend as well that made me reflect. And it had to do with how loud I am and how much I talk, and even what we're doing right now. I'm facilitating and waiting for others, right, to communicate back, but I'm definitely the one that usually wants to start or engage communication with anybody at any time. It's something I love to do, and I'm not ashamed of it as much as I used to be. A lot of people are like, whether I'm annoying or whether all these things, right? FOPO, don't give a darn, right? So, but as I've learned to meditate and think more about what I do, one of the things that I'm just going to use this video for video accountability is that I want to become a better observer. And I've watched other leaders of mine do a better job of that than others. And I know I don't do a very good job of it. I need to be a better job of an observer, and not when it comes to the details. I can smell a lie like a fart in a car, and I can definitely feel what's going on when I'm communicating with somebody. The problem is I need to be a better observer during communication, not the environment and everything else. So that's something I'm going to work on. Let's see. I'm going to go through now some drumming stuff just because I've got a couple of minutes, and I promised some people I would. I'm going to grab the steel drum. I'm going to play that for a brief second. And then I'm going to grab the djembe, grab that for a brief second. And then I'm going to go jump on the drums, which I'll need to kill Instagram for because I need my phone for a backing track. And we'll see if it all works. But other than that, I hope this got your Monday going. I'm excited to give this a shot and see if the sound comes through on this really cool steel drum. So let's see what happens. Sorry, I had a couple comments waiting. 100%. The nights that I scroll socials before bed, my sleep isn't good. Yeah, I'm going to just leave that one up on the screen there for a while, right? So much easier to get up early and do it, although there's not as many people on, right? But that right there, Jennifer, is such a great comment. Such a great comment. Took the Facebook app off my phone. Okay, see, so there's a couple comments, right? We've got 2 comments. You too, Jessica. Have a wonderful day. That's 2 comments though about social media in general, Facebook, which we're on right now live, in general. So do you need a timer? Do you need, again, a bedtime? Do you need a bedtime for your devices before you need a bedtime for yourself? I don't know. Again, just throwing some things out there. Thanks, Christine. I'm trying to be inspiring. It's literally what I'm trying to do. So I appreciate that comment very, very, very much. So here we go. I want to, blast things off here with the drums and go get to my day. Thanks everybody who did tune in this morning. We'll see how this works. I'm going to see if this microphone picks this up. And if somebody could, on the screen, it'd be really, really sweet, as if somebody could tell me if you can hear it okay. Can somebody that's on, let me know if you can hear that, if it sounds good or not. Thanks, Christine. Just endlessly play around with something, like that. You can just endlessly play around with it, and it's really, really cool. So that is a steel drum, and for those of you that are like super interested in something like that steel drum, I should have put this up on the screen right away, but that's from Isthmus Instruments here in Madison. Let's see here. I'm going to just put it up on the screen. Yeah. So anyway, it's pretty cool. Isthmus Instruments. It's if you haven't check them out, they're just neat to learn about in general anyway. So if you haven't seen that, really, really cool. They're just really, really cool. They sound neat. They are neat. yeah, it's just all cool. So I'm going to grab the Djembe here real quick. And yeah, see, she even wrote a book. Really, really cool on there as well. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm going to grab the Djembe for those that don't know what a Djembe is. The Djembe is another hand drum. This one's like not as cool as like some of the like I don't know, less, what do you want to call it, like commercially manufactured hand drums, but like this one is really, really good for like durability, weather, living in Wisconsin. So we'll see if you guys can hear this one at all. So there's 3 notes in these generally, if you didn't know. So it's like 3, low, medium, and high, you know, like bass. Yeah, anyway. So that's the hand drum. And then like last but not least, we'll get to some metal here and go finish Monday. I did my actual meditation earlier anyway, so here we go. Let's give this a shot. Oh, and I apologize there. Let's see. I apologize there to my Instagram friends. I need my phone. All right. We'll see here. Oh, it's making me do that. Whatever. Okay, I'll do that later. Okay, well, here we go. Sorry, I don't know if you guys will hear it much either, by the way, but we'll try and turn it up. Yeah, I don't know. Robinhood believes now is the time to dim money. Without the commission fees and account minimums. And that is the end of the broadcast. Have a great day. Thanks for everybody who dropped in and said hi. Everything else here this morning. Have a wonderful day. 4 minutes to go. Monday, here we come. Have a great